Yo, what up, YouTube? Doing a quick video today, and this one's going to be a little bit different. We're not doing a Master Lost sector. I'm going through and showing you how I've set up all of my characters so that I can make quick and easy builds. And this one, I threw together a quick Arthritis Embrace. We're just going to call it that because I can't pronounce anything in Destiny. Arthritis Embrace. We're going to focus around an exotic. You don't have to use an exotic, but this is going to be showing you guys just a generic build of how to set up your character so that you can throw in anything and quickly be able to adjust it to your build, and it still works for 90% of content. Now, this is going to be reliant on you having a lot of the mods. I know newer players won't have mods, but be sure that's your number one thing, because they're leaning into build crafting. And unless for some reason they go crazy on us and they're like, guess what? All the mods are available to everyone. Turn some light on here. Alexa, make table lamp white. I turned on the light, so I'll probably cut that part out. Editor, me, future me, cut that out.
No.
All right. So one of my most important in my builds is that boots are always solar. And now I do that for numerous reasons. The biggest reason is so that I can always run recuperation and I can always run innervation, so that I can always get my grenade back faster by picking up an orb of power. I can also swap that out for absolution if I want to just reduce all my ability cooldowns by picking up an orb of power. And that's very welcome. Let's say I want to switch to that. Your cloak or class item, whether your Titan Mark, your Warlock, Bond, your Hunter Cloak, all three, doesn't matter, have multiple cloaks and try and have them at different elements. This is one that you'll swap elements more. Your chest, this is one that you will swap elements more. Your gauntlets, this is kind of your preference. You can swap it around. It's not that important, but for instance, on Arthritis Embrace, I chose to have it as stasis for melee kickstart, because the exotic is built around melee, and when your melee energy is fully expended, you gain melee energy. So use all of it, get it back. That's why I chose stasis on this one. Helmet. This is one that you can swap around, but you want to swap the energy element around on it based on what guns and subclass you are using. The reason being, like this one's on solar. This build is based on solar because I'm using throwing knives. Because I'm using a solar subclass, I'm going to want to run Harmonic Siphon, and you can choose Kinetic Siphon just to make sure you're making orbs off both, and that's because it is solar, so I am harmonizing with my subclass. But let's say I'm on solar. Let's say for some reason I want to go and I'm making a void build. No, let's say arc. Let's say I'm making an arc build. I'm using Shinobu's Vow. I can easily say, oh, well, I'm not harmonic. I'm not even getting, maybe I'll get some kinetic orbs, but if you have an arc helmet, you can then run harmonic and kinetic, and you'll be good to go. You'll be making orbs of power. Now let's talk about combat mods. combat mods, if you go into collections, those are kind of the most important. When you go into mods and you look at combat style, these are the ones that make builds. So when you're looking at your character, say I was making a Shinobu's build. For me, Shinobu's is all about grenades, so I actually like to run fastball, but you can also try and throw on impact induction. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. You could try and tie that into your build to try and make more, get more grenades, even with Shinobu's giving you as many grenades as possible. You could also say, well, maybe, like I said, arms can be whatever element. Say you want to go arc. Causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee. You're causing a lot of damage with 2 grenades, skip grenades. So maybe you want your melee back faster. So you can go with that. Maybe I want to use a SMG. Maybe I want some recovery. And then I want elemental charge. I always run elemental charge on my gauntlets because I usually want a reloader. And sometimes if it's hand cannon reloader, it's going to cost 4 or 5. I don't remember. Probably 4. But if I want to use a hand cannon, it's going to cost me a lot. 4 for hand cannon. So if I do that, I might not be able to do momentum transfer, but I could easily do it by doing this. And I just deal with having only a +1 to mobility. And then I can use hand cannons and still get my momentum transfer and have a hand cannon loader for my primary weapon. Now, in those combat style mods, I like to have it where my helmet is always running taking charge. So my helmet is my orbs of power because of harmonic siphon, kinetic siphon, and taking charge. Everything in terms of orbs of power generation and collecting to become charged with light is on my helmet. My gauntlets are making me charged with light from whatever is making my wells. Now, whatever is making my wells is on my class item. My class item is always going to be any element. So say I'm making this arc build and I want, let's look at the, let's say I want solar because I want bomber and let's say I want solar. So if I wanted this to be solar, I could change it to solar. I like bomber because I reduce grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Hunters use a lot of class abilities, so I can throw one of those on there, maybe 2 of them. But maybe I want to do a seasonal mod as well, but I can also just throw on elemental ordnance, and every time I throw a grenade and get a kill, it's going to make wells of light, wells of energy, whatever the wells. It makes a well. Now I have space, so what if I want to just do 1 bomber, and because bomber requires class ability, I'll use mobility because that's what gives me my class ability. So I can run something like that. Also, the drip looks weird, so I'm putting this on. All right. So that's making my wells. This is solar boots. Like I said, always solar boots. So I have the option of running bountiful wells for making more wells, or if I run charged up, I have the option of becoming charged with light more stacks of charged with light to be able to spend. And that's where you get into the fun of it. You can decide whether you want more wells or more charged with light stacks. Wells give you more wells, mean more ability energy, but more charged with light means you get more functionality out of the charged with light combat style mods. So for instance, in this build, I have energy converter. It's one that not a lot of people run, but sometimes I like to run it. So when I get Charged with Light, consuming all stacks of Charged with Light when you throw your grenade grants super energy. Consuming all stacks of Charged with Light. The more stacks you have, the more you gain, up to maximum of 50% of your super energy. So you can throw your super, then throw your nade, and then you get as almost up to 50% of your super energy back. So it's something that's very interesting to run, but if you want more super energy, you don't want as many wells, because wells are going to be more towards your gaining ability energy back. So maybe in this build, Bountiful Wells isn't the play. So you would, on Solar Boots, could just switch to Charged Up. And then that would make more sense. And you can still be generating some orbs, or some wells, and still collecting them for those ability energy. But that's how you can easily make that build work. And it's instantly ready to go based on helmet, based on what subclass and possible weapons you're using. Gauntlets can be whatever you want. But remember, arc is going to be melee gives grenade energy, or sorry, arc is grenade gives melee energy. Solar is melee gives grenade energy. Void is giving you class ability energy. And stasis is going to be melee or grenade kickstart. Stasis is a good one for gauntlets. But you can choose whatever you want, whatever kind of fits into your playstyle of what you want to try and do. Solar Boots, your chest piece can be whatever you want it to be for making your specific build, or whatever activity based on your resistances that you need to do. Say I'm in an activity and Void won't work, so I wouldn't be able to use Energy Converter. You can always use High Energy Fire. Now, High Energy Fire is going to use one stack of Charged with Light just to do some bonus damage. I usually run that 90% of the time. But so maybe I don't want to use Charged Up because I'm not going to be getting that many orbs of power. So I won't cycle through and use all of the Charged with Light in one stack. Maybe we don't need that many stacks of Charged with Light. So maybe Charged Up isn't where I want to go. Maybe I want to go with the ability energy. So that's when you can just go back and do Bountiful Wells. Maybe I don't want all the ability energy. I just want to pick up a well and I get increased regeneration for a short period of time. I can do Well of Life. You have options on the Solar Boots that are very good for survivability. The boots were not just made for walking, but they'll keep you alive. So easily you can make a build if you follow like that kind of format. Anything on your class item, Solar Boots, anything on your chest piece, preference on your gauntlets that fills in gaps to make your build even better, and helmet to match your subclass or weapon choice. If I'm on that note, if I'm using a helmet, it's not arc. Say I'm running arc, but I'm doing an activity that needs me to have a void weapon. Easily, you can use a void helmet, and instead of, you can run harmonic. I just leave it on all my helmets because it's harmonic. But if you want to, you can just swap out kinetic for void siphon. And that's usually what I do, so that I don't have to change a bunch of mods. But hey, you can say screw it. Run kinetic and void. You might have a little bit less of a a general armor mod for an increased stat boost. But you could easily do that. Say you wanted a little bit more mobility. And that's how you can make a simple build. You can spec it out and try and get your armor as high as you can in different categories that you want. Try and fill in the gaps. The biggest thing to remember is, like, if you look at my intellect here, it's at 57. That 7 is not helping anything. No matter what, it's going to be at tier 5. So you want to get rid of all those extra stats. Same thing on my grenade right here. I'm at 48. So say I have a lot of mobility, I have recovery, and I have a mobility. I'm at 91. If I can sacrifice some mobility and I'm making this a grenade build, maybe I want to take this away, put on a discipline mod, throw on an extra bomber so that my dodge will still come up often, but now I'm up to tier 5 on my grenade, so that grenade with Shinobus will give my grenades back even faster. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I wanted to try and make this video to explain like how my builds work and how my normal rules will apply, and then I can easily swap things out depending on what I'm trying to do. I'd say your best thing to do to start is start with a class item that you like, because none of those have stats that you have to like worry about. Is this good stats? It's all 0. They're all just masterwork it and you already get plus 12. And then whatever stat increase mod you put on. So then have one of every element. I have a solar, I have void, I have arc. Have a stasis too. I don't have it on my character right now, but have one of each. I know the cam's covering it up, but have one of each. Boots, go solar. The only reason you wouldn't go solar is if you're making a very specific build. Now, lastly, what I wanted to say is, say you're making this build and you like how it looks. Get yourself invested in Destiny Item Manager. If you make a build, like I made a Arthritis Embrace, I can literally click on it. It's going to switch all my armor, my ornaments, my ghost, my ship, my sparrow, my coffee creamer I put in my coffee this morning. It switches everything up, ready to go for this build. And say I like, if you're making it for the first time, I'll show you how to do that. Say I wanted high energy fire. I didn't want to have energy converter on. You go to Destiny Item Manager. You can hit edit on that build. You click this, sync from equipped. Now that's changed over to high energy fire, and you can hit save down here in the bottom left. If I was making that Shinobu's build, taking charge, elemental charge, say I wanted to use a hand cannon with it. Everything else is how I wanted it. Maybe it's not melee wellmaker because I wanted elemental ordnance. I put this cloak on. If that's the build that you want, go over here, hit create loadout. Bottom left, fill from equipped. Arc is not subclass 3.0, but it will still put on it'll just put on Arc. Just make sure you're on the right tree of Arc until we have Arc 3.0. But it'll have your armor, ornaments, shaders, weapons, mods, all of that ready to go. You can name it up here. This is a test loadout. It's a loadout. Save. There you go. Now it's there. This is a test loadout. Don't like it? Delete it. But you can make your build in game, and then you can save your loadout and be easily able to interchange things in and out pretty easily. Anyways, I think I covered everything that I wanted to. I hope you guys learned something about my builds and how to better your builds. If this video was helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the Twitch channel. Link will be in the description box below. I stream every day on Twitch. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.